time now to sit back and enjoy the action. Can Celtic close their Champions League campaign with an almighty bang and take something from the Bernabéu? It's Real Madrid against Celtic with Pat Bonner and Liam McLeod.
Good evening everyone. Santiago, Bernabéu, the final Champions League action for Scottish football of the season. Celtic have never won in Spain. This would be some place to go on and do just that. But they are very much up against it tonight. The defending 14-time Champions League European Cup champions, Real Madrid, and a very, very strong Real Madrid lineup this evening as well for Celtic to contend with as they look to try and end this campaign on a high. 2 points only after the first 5 matches. Under the lights here, an hour ahead of you back in the UK. The Celtic players down getting their team photo before kick-off. It's Joe Hart in goal for them. Juranovic, Starfelt, Jensen, Taylor across the back with O'Reilly, Moy and Hatate in midfield. Abada and Maida supporting Kyogo. Maida, of course, named in the Japanese World Cup squad for the tournament that gets underway in less than 3 weeks. Hatate and Kyogo failed to make the grade though. Real Madrid, Courtois in goal, Carvajal, Militao, Alaba and Mendy across the back. Valverde, Kroos and Modric in the middle with Asensio and Vinicius Jr. either side of Rodrigo, who leads the line. Karim Benzema fit enough for a place amongst the bench for Real Madrid. The Celtic players about to go into their huddle over on that far side. The referee, 38-year-old Frenchwoman Stéphanie Frappard, the first female to take charge of a men's top-flight game in France. She's one of 3 women referees appointed to officiate at the World Cup, which, as I say, is just over a fortnight away. The Winter World Cup in the Middle East. It's the Celtic supporters you can hear as the players go into their huddle down below us. We're up in the heavens. The pitch is in floodlight, as you would expect. One last chance to pick up a victory, but the toughest challenge of all in Europe against Real Madrid, who beat Liverpool in last season's final in the Stade de France. That Vinicius Jr. goal settling a tight final, and it will be Los Blancos to get the game underway. All in their famous white. Celtic in one of their change kits, the black with green flashes. Celtic, as we watch, TV camera side, up above Ange Postecoglou's technical area, will go right to left in this first half on match day 6 in the UEFA Champions League. And it's underway. Real Madrid do so left to right, and it's Luka Modric. He was one of the 3 goal scorers on match day 1 at Celtic Park, and he's given it away, would you believe, in the opening seconds of the game, straight to Aaron Moy. It's played out to that right hand side, but Abada gets onto it. It's Hatate trying to feed it back to Abada on the right hand side, but it's collected here by Toni Kroos as Hatate's ball was cut out over there as Carvajal knocks it back to his goalkeeper. Remember, Celtic started so brilliantly in the game in Glasgow and really shook Real Madrid. They stood up to them. Callum McGregor hitting the post. Courtois made 2 or 3 excellent saves as well. Primarily Lila Bada was the guilty party for Celtic missing chances as Aaron Moy gets into his stride and rolls it out wide right for Abada. Gets an overlap from Juranovic. Out to Juranovic it goes, but it's a poor cross as he puts it up high into the sky, and it goes over the crossbar and behind for a Real Madrid goal kick. They will need better quality than that when they come to the Bernabéu, Paki Bonner.
Yeah, he got into a good position just to float that ball in, just got it all wrong. But just looking at Celtic, Starfield has started over on the right-hand side of that double centre half. Jens on the left, so that hopefully will help him. As we talked about earlier in the build-up to this match. I think Juranovic will have to probably more sit in that right-back position today, especially with Vinicius Jr., who's got that real pace.
Maida chasing down a pass back to Courtois, and he knocks it behind for a goal kick. Good pressing by Celtic as Real Madrid tried to play it out from the back there. And it will be a goal kick, which looks like it's going to be taken by the centre-back Militao here, who is one of 2 changes made by Carlo Ancelotti from the side that were held to a frustrating 1-1 draw by Girona at the weekend. Rudiger and Camavinga going to the bench. Militao and Asensio coming into the team as it's pinged out to Carvajal, 5-time Champions League winner, up towards Valverde, who tries to struggle off O'Reilly, comes bouncing off O'Reilly and out for a Real Madrid throw-in midway inside their own half, taken quickly by Carvajal. And then Valverde with a big switch way over to the left-hand side for Mendy, who's got Vinicius Junior up the line if he wants him. Instead he turns back towards his own goal and rolls it back to Courtois. Celtic chasing the ball down, and it's putting pressure on these Real Madrid players. It's a wonderful touchback there by Carvajal to Militao, who takes it up towards halfway. It's a long ball looking for Vinicius Junior, but it comes all the way through to Joe Hart. 0-0, 2.5 in.
Yeah, Vinicius Junior coming on the inside there, in between Starfelt and Juranovic. Just the ball wasn't directed properly to him, but he's got that pace, he's got that ability, he scores goals. He's a real handful. You've got to be watching him all the time. Just also they switch the ball so well. We've seen Toni Kroos do that in the middle of the pitch. He opens out and he'll hit that ball for especially Carvajal down this right hand side. He gets himself into great positions.
Oh, a great ball by Hatate. Abada gets it into stride, right hand side of the box. Kyogo's waiting in the middle. He couldn't find him though, and it's not clear by Militao. This has been a really good start by Celtic. The header forward Juranovic, just too much on it for Hatate to be able to control it, and Real Madrid pick up with David Alaba, who takes it out on the far side, rolls it forward to Modric, and it's a wonderful little pirouette there by the genius Croatian as he stabs it out to this near side for Valverde.
I talked about his awareness before the ball even comes. I mean, that time he's seen Mattarelli kind of chasing him down. He just flicked it past him to open up the space and play forward. Really good.
Magnificent player, Modric. Here is Asensio. Turns it back to Carvajal in field for Vinicius Junior, who flicks it with the outside of the boot to Ferland Mendy. And then down the line for Rodrigo, who's popped up on that left-hand side. Now with Modric, clipped ball out wide right to this near side for Asensio. This is Real Madrid's first real attack of the match. It's a brilliant ball into the penalty area here. Rodrigo, saved by Hart, breaks back to Valverde, doesn't catch it. Shout for handball, the penalty's been given against Moritz. Real Madrid 4 minutes in of a spot kick.
Yeah, you knew right away. As soon as he went to ground, his hand was up. He kind of almost went down on his crutches and knees, and his hand was out, and the ball smacked off it, and you can see right away that it was a handball.
Yeah, without question.
And
look at the replay.
You can see
there
that he actually knew it also. Yeah. So it's the penalty. Is Modric stepping up.
They've started the game pretty well too, Celtic. That's Real Madrid's first foray forward, and they've been rewarded with a penalty. Joe Hart, who's the captain's armband this evening. No McGregor, no Carter Vickers. Is Luka Modric about to plunge Scottish football into further European despair here early on in the Bernabéu? 5 minutes on the clock only. Joe Hart with his arms in the air trying to put Modric off. He scored on match day 1 in Glasgow. Modric waits on the 18-yard line. Joe Hart waits in the centre of his goal off to our right. The referee just about ready, and now she is, as Modric waits to take, beginning his run up now. Right-footed, scores! Sends Hart the wrong way, and Luka Modric scores again. Brilliant penalty kick, nothing Hart could do about that once he started diving. It's Luka Modric, and it's Real Madrid 1, Celtic 0, in the infancy of this game on match day 6.
Yeah, getting in that little ball played in behind the Celtic defence caused problems for them. They were unlucky, obviously. Jens going to ground a little bit and catching his hand, but the penalty was so well taken. He just delayed, real composure, stepped up, just waited for Joe to go to his right, and then side-footed high up into the left-hand side to put them 1-0 up.
And the start that Celtic dreaded, Packy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not the start that you want inside the Bernabéu for sure. So yeah, they go behind, and as you said, they started off quite well. They got high up the pitch at times. They put the defence, Real Madrid defence, under pressure, but then you end up losing the goal. Just really from, I think it's their second attack up the pitch, they end up losing that penalty from it.
Militao for Real, dinking it forward. Valverde gets the long leg onto it and pokes it forward to Rodrigo. Vinicius Junior's off to the left. He slipped him in. Left-hand side of the box. Vinny Junior drops the shoulder on the right foot. His effort's blocked. Breaks back out here to Valverde. And now Modric. Mendy's out on the left. Instead he plays it back to Toni Kroos, German World Cup winner, no less. Carvajal to Asensio. The two Spaniards on this near side. It's back with the Uruguayan, Valverde to Kroos, who finds Modric, who finds Asensio. I have to say, that looked really ominous as Rodrigo drove towards the box and slipped to Vinicius Junior to his left. He's always so deadly on that left-hand side of the opposition penalty box. And it's Toni Kroos with the big switch of play out to the left. And suddenly, 7.5 in, 1-0 Real Madrid. It's looking like it could be a long old night for the Scottish champions.
Yeah, you just got to get a hold of the ball again. And this Real Madrid team, they will control the game given the opportunity. They'll pass it around. They're quite happy to hit 3, 4, 5 passes and then wait for the moment. Not unlike Celtic at many times. So Celtic just got to grip of the game now and get back, getting a few passes away and get back into this game.
Yeah, Celtic's recent Champions League record in the competition outright hasn't been great. They've only won 1 of their last 20 as Real Madrid come forward down the left, but the whistle's gone and the referee's going to bring it back for a Celtic ball. Must have gone over the line on the far side. Throw-in to be taken by Juranovic. They won in Anderlecht, or in Brussels against Anderlecht in 2017, but it's been a pretty miserable return in the top competition in Europe for Celtic recently. They've always had problems on the road, but they always had Celtic Park to rely on. Hasn't been the case in recent times as Aaron Moy collects midway inside the Real Madrid half. Celtic getting a much needed feel of the ball here, 8.5 minutes in. It's now back with Jens, left-hand side of the centre circle, rolls it to Taylor on the halfway line, little ball in field for Rio Hatate. He goes back to Jens, who pushes it to the right of the circle for Karl Starfelt. Out it comes to Abada. Abada now attacking the Real Madrid box. He's found Kyogo's in a good space, right-hand side of the penalty area, but it's a poor touch. He was being marshalled there by Militao, and he goes behind for a goal kick. It stays Madrid 1, Celtic 0 on 9 minutes.
Yeah, you just got to get a hold of that ball, haven't you? You know that these defenders, they're quick also. Kyogo's got that little bit of pace, but he's well matched. Militao's quick at the back, so is Alaba. They know how to defend.
It's back with Courtois. He'll turn it out to this near side. Courtois hoping that that Belgium team will be able to make an impression in the World Cup. The golden generation getting into the twilight stage of their respective careers. No Eden Hazard, speaking of that Belgian squad right now, he's out injured tonight. Another goal scorer at Celtic Park on matchday 1 as Militao slips it up the line here to Carvajal, midway inside his own half. He's given it away and it's now with Hatate. Maida to his left now. O'Reilly tried to squeeze it through to Kyogo. Too much on it. Abada was in a decent position as well on the 18-yard line to the right of the D. Back with Courtois, and he bowls it short to Valverde. 1-0 Real Madrid on 10 minutes.
Oh, it was a great opportunity for Matarelli. He actually had Maeda on his left hand, so he had a number of choices, and he picked the wrong choice for me. Just slipped Maeda down the left hand side, and he was right in.
Just over a year ago, Matt O'Reilly was a goal scorer in an English League One game at Crewe. They won 4-1 as Real Madrid pick up here. Leipzig have gone 1-0 up against Shakhtar in Warsaw. Of course, as it stands, Real Madrid will win the group anyway. Both of those teams winning as Real Madrid come forward. Vinicius Junior back to Modric. There's a runner ahead of him in Mendy. He instead plays it to the left for Asensio, whose cross is cut out there by Abada, and out for a Real Madrid throw-in on the far side. It was Christian Nkunku who got that goal for RB Leipzig, incidentally. One of the scourges of Celtic in this Champions League campaign, as Militao shrugs off Maida and rolls it back to his goalkeeper. It's Courtois. He rolls it back out to Militao on this near side level with the penalty spot, plays it off Maida and out for a throw into Real Madrid on this right-hand side. You're just joining us. It is Los Blancos in front, a Luka Modric penalty after a handball by Moritz Jens. After Celtic made a bright start, pressuring that Real Madrid defence. And up the park went the holders and win the penalty, and Modric made no mistake as Rodrigo picks up and takes it out to the touchline over on that far side. Low ball along the grass in field to Modric. It's a problem with the pitch here, it's quite rutted down there. They've got some kind of diseased playing surface here at the Bernabéu, which is one of the many things they're having to sort out with the stadium right now, as Valverde Moves it infield to Modric. Flicks it with the outside of the right, out to that left-hand side for Vinicius Junior. He finds Mendy on the overlap. Back to the Brazilian, infield to Modric, little chip back towards Vinicius Junior on the turn. He's got his back to goal at the moment inside the Celtic box. It's the nutmeg and Moy. Vinny Junior, the misunderstanding between he and Carvajal, and he goes out of play for a throw-in on this near side to Celtic. 1-0 Real Madrid on 12 and a half.
Yeah, lots of movement from the Real Madrid players. You've got Valverde, you've got Asensio, you've got Rodrigo, all mixing it up a little bit. One steps out of a position, the other comes into it, and that just kind of gets Celtic a little bit confused at times. Who should they be picking up, who should they be marking?
Real Madrid unbeaten in their 8 home games so far this season. They did lose last time out in this tournament, losing to Leipzig 3-2, and that's a result that means they have to win this evening. As Hatate slides it towards Maida. Maida with the early ball. Kyogo's there, and he gets a poor touch and puts it behind for the goal kick. 6 yards out. Kyogo Furuhashi. What a chance to score in the Bernabéu. It stays Real Madrid 1, Celtic 0. It's been the story of Celtic's Champions League season.
Yeah, initially it comes from Hatate picking up a great position in between the lines, setting Maeda down this left-hand side with a lovely little pass inside the full-back. Maeda showing a really good bit of speed to get past Carvajal in that sort of right back position, and then Kyogo coming in at the back post. He had Abada racing in from the right hand side, totally free, and just I think he would have been in a far better position to go and finish Abada, because Kyogo was really stretching to get good contact on the ball. Really good chance for Celtic.
They failed to take it, and Real Madrid have a 1-0 lead, and they're coming forward with Carvajal, who finds Asensio, who finds Modric. Right foot, switch of play out to the left there for Vinicius Junior. Up against Juranovic. Knocks it back to Mendy. And into the midfield for Valverde, who finds Kroos. Back to Kroos from Mendy, and out wide left for Vinicius Junior. How the Celtic players are going to be able to keep tabs with all these white shirts, it's beyond me, because they are moving around all over the place. It is Abada winning it back for Celtic, though, right hand side of his own box. Does well, clips it at Moy. Abada's away on the touchline. He can get some space. Valverde trying to make sure that door stays closed. The pass in the end went towards Kyogo, but it's cut out, and Real have it back with Toni Kroos, who finds Alaba, who finds Valverde. 14 and a half in. Real Madrid 1, Celtic 0.
Yes, that cross-field pass again from Toni Kroos from left to right. Brilliant ball.
Rodrigo knocking it forward, but it's picked up by O'Reilly, who finds Taylor. Taylor's in trouble. 3 around him. 1 back by Real Madrid. Asensio smashes it to the edge of the box for Valverde, who rifles it well past the left-hand post, and it's a goal kick to Celtic.
Yeah, Valverde again getting himself into a position where there's nobody picking him up on the opposite side of Matt O'Reilly, and they pick him out so well. They all must play to get somebody into that free position, and then they're able to get them passes away to pick him out.
Kyogo back to Jens. Maida's on his bike. Instead he plays it short to Hatate. He moves it back to the left of the centre circle for O'Reilly, crossing the halfway line into Real territory. Left-footed out to the right for Juranovic, onto the touchline for Abada. Infield to Moy. It's been a good response by Celtic to going behind in this famous old stadium. So it comes back to Starfelt. He finds Jens. Reduced capacity. I think they were thinking around about 50,000 were going to be inside the stadium tonight. It's an effective building site, and the works have been delayed because of the pandemic, because of the Russian invasion of Ukraine as well, which has meant that supply lines have been stopped. So that's shifted forward to Abada and back into his own half for Starfelt, who moves right to left of the centre circle for Jens. Out to Taylor. Stabs it back to Karl Starfelt, who's right of the centre circle. And then he rolls it low out to the right touchline for Juranovic. Looks up at the Real box, gets the cross in, manages to find Abada, and then Hatate on the edge of the area rifles it over the crossbar. Really good build-up play by Celtic down that right-hand side. Juranovic and Abada involved, and when it broke back to Hatate, it was moved back to him from the man in the 18-yard line, who is back to goal, and Hatate on the volley puts it well over the bar in the end, and it stays Real Madrid 1, Celtic 0 as we approach 17 minutes.
Yeah, good patient play from Celtic, you've got to say. Plenty of passes to get into the position down that right-hand side to deliver the cross, just working the ball, working it between midfield and defence, and eventually getting in there. It was good cross and good set-up play. They were unfortunate that he couldn't keep his shot down and on target. Another chance for them though.
Yeah, a couple since going behind. Asensio finds Carvajal on this near side. He moves it back there to Toni Kroos. Both managers at the edge of their technical areas down there. Carlo Ancelotti to the left, the only man to manage teams to the title in the big 5 UEFA countries. Most recently here in Spain, he guided Real Madrid to the La Liga title last season, as well as the Champions League. Vinicius Junior at the left angle of the box, rolls it back to Modric. Square ball for Toni Kroos. He passes it low out to Marco Asensio, who finds Carvajal. Kroos to Valverde, out wide right for Carvajal. Infield for Asensio. Couple of games without a win now for Real Madrid. Barcelona sitting second in the La Liga tables. It's squeezed through here to Asensio. Early ball, chance, saved by Hart from Vinicius Junior. He's kept it in play though. Finds Rodrigo. His shot's blocked, and it's another appeal for handball. Real Madrid pick up with Asensio on the near side. Now Modric clips it in. Wonderful cross ball through the corridor there, and Celtic get it away. Scrambled clear by Juranovic, out for a Real Madrid throw-in over on the far side. It stays 1-0 to the hosts.
Players will claim for everything now, won't they? She's obviously, is it a VAR check?
Yeah,
I think she stopped the play, but they're claiming for everything. If it's unfortunate if this is going to be another penalty from this perspective. But what a good save from Joe Hart initially. A great ball initially from Modric in behind Greg Taylor for Asensio, who played a brilliant ball across that 6-yard box for that man again, Vinicius Junior, down and coming in at the left hand post. Joe Hart this time making the save to keep it at 1-0.
They're still checking it, and she's going to look at it. Stephanie Frappar's coming over to look at this again for herself. Are Celtic about to concede another penalty here? They are behind 1-0 to a converted spot kick by Luka Modric, and the referee's made the long run over to this near side to have a look at the pitch side monitor. Pack able to have a look at a replay himself here. Yeah,
we're just waiting for the action to start on the monitor, but I'm looking at it. It's almost, he's got his hand by his side initially.
Oh, it's come off the hand, yeah. It's definitely come off the hand, so Riley, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's almost as if they smashed the ball.
Here we go. The referee coming back on. Penalty, second penalty of the match for Real Madrid. And again, it's for handball. This time against Matt O'Reilly. 20 minutes in, and it's another opportunity for Los Blancos.
She books him. How can you book somebody for going in almost a yard away when the ball comes up off? What are you doing? Are you supposed to keep your hand on your back, or what is it? He ends up booking Matt O'Reilly for a handball that he has no intention of whatsoever to give away the penalty.
Yeah, it seems a strange decision.
And it's a different penalty taker this time.
Yeah, Rodrigo's going to take this one. Celtic already behind to a Modric penalty.
I'll tell you,
this is harsh on them.
VAR has got a huge impact on the game now. There's no doubt about it.
Joe Hart is dancing around his goal line. Rodrigo waits. The man who dug Real Madrid out of that almighty hole against Manchester City in last season's semi-final in this very stadium has a chance to put Real Madrid 2 up. Here he goes, right-footed from Rodrigo, and he sends Hart the wrong way, as Modric did earlier. Hart dives to his left, the ball went to his right, and it's Real Madrid 2, Celtic 0. You have to say, pretty harsh on the Scottish champions, that.
Really harsh, really harsh. 2 penalties, and they've had chances themselves in this game to test Courtois, just didn't quite take them. But to be 2-0 down, and they haven't done very much wrong whatsoever in this game. They've matched Real Madrid. I've got to say though, the pass from Modric to set up the initial cross into the box was a magnificent
Wonderful,
pass.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
What they do, Real Madrid, they almost go 4 up against Celtic's back 4. What Visnius Jr. out in the left-hand side. You've got Rodrigo through the middle. You've got Asensio and you've got Valverde, and then the two behind them, Kroos and Modric, are the ones
Jens
that do
in
the
trouble.
passes.
Asensio's found Rodrigo right-hand side of the box. He's done brilliantly. Good skill. Vinicius Jr. skies it over the bar. What a chance for number 3. He's round about the penalty spot and he's inexplicably put that over the goal frame. 22 in. Real Madrid 2, Celtic 0. But it should be 3.
Should have been 3, and it was easier probably to hit the target and hit over the crossbar from the position he was in. There was nobody near him. It was great play down this right-hand side from Asensio, getting in behind, again in behind that Celtic defence.
And Celtic need to be careful here. Don't want this turning into an infamous night. It's been a decent performance from them. They've had a couple of opportunities themselves, but they are 2-0 down, and then they're on the rack again here. Modric flicks it into the midfield for Kroos, and it's a low ball out to the left for Ferland Mendy. Now with Vinny Jr., who actually, the first shot on target they had was the one from Vinny Jr., which Hart saved, and then he, on the second phase, keeps it in play, turns it back to Rodrigo, and that's when it comes off the hand of O'Reilly.
Yeah, but you can see what they do. It's almost like a 4v4 for Celtic at the back, and then their movement is so good, and then the ability of the two in midfield to pass the ball in behind. They don't pass it to feet, they pass it in behind when the time is right, and then they're away, and it's really difficult to defend against.
Just 5 wins out of 26 games for Scottish football in Europe this season. 2 of those were Hearts wins over the Latvian minnows RFS. Dundee United beat Alkmaar in the first leg before succumbing. Rangers managed a couple of wins in the qualifying stage of the Champions League. But the coefficient has taken an absolute pounding this season. Dropped below Belgium, with another couple of nations breathing down their necks right now. It's back to Courtois, who sweeps it forward with the left foot out to the far side. Underneath it's Juranovic. Mendy's there. A little bit short with the pass, but Alaba's onto it now. Alaba's won 3 Champions League titles, 2 at Bayern Munich, and he was part of the squad that won this tournament last season. The famous white of Real Madrid. Asensio turns it back to Carvajal. Now it's with Modric. 24 in, 2-0, 2 penalties for Real Madrid. As Jens collects and squares it to Starfelt. Big night for those two here in the Bernabéu. First time they've started together. There's O'Reilly. And now out to the left here for Taylor, who finds Daizen Maida midway inside the opposition half. Greg Taylor with the play of Rodrigo for a Celtic throw-in. To be taken by Taylor. He gets the ball from coach Ancelotti, as Aaron Moy turns it back to Hatate. He moves it back into his own half for Starfelt here. It's been a stop-start season so far for the Swede. It's played out to the right, Juranovic. Now Moy back to Abada. Juranovic can't control. Vinicius Jr. collects the scraps and finds Alaba out to Mendy on the far side under pressure from Abada, and he turns it calmly along his 18-yard line where Kroos meets it.
Yeah, they've got a great awareness too. See, when they're on the opposite side of the pitch, they almost have eyes in the back of their head at times, like some Modric and Kroos. They will always see the spare man on the other side, and they've got the ability to just open out and find them. And that's when Celtic's probably at their weakest, because they don't have players in those positions, because they're pulled across to the side of the ball.
It is Real Madrid with Mendy. Sweeps it into the midfield. Here's Militao, he's under pressure, pinched off from Rio Hatate. Blocked by Kroos, but it breaks to Maida. He can slip it to Kyogo, right-hand side. He shoots, saved by Courtois. Another chance for Celtic, still alive. Abada, his efforts blocked. Now it's Greg Taylor, and he wins Celtic a throw-in down by the corner flag on this near side. Real Madrid 2, Celtic 0, 26 in. Celtic, I have to say, they reacted brilliantly to going 1-0 down. They've reacted very well to going 2-0 down as well, and that's a glorious chance for Kyogo Furuhashi.
Oh, he's got to score though. He's got another big chance. He is free inside the box. It comes from them closing quickly down and winning the ball back, but he set himself up. It's probably on the right side of the penalty spot, free, and he goes and hits it into the area where Courtois likes it. High up, big guy, and he makes a save. You've got to get low into the corner and give yourself a real chance to score.
You take the high road, you're struggling. It needs to be absolutely perfect to beat 6'7" Thibaut Courtois, who once kept goal against Celtic for Real City rivals Atletico in the Europa League, going back 11 years now. He was on loan there from Chelsea. It's a good save from Kyogo, but the Celtic striker will be annoyed that he's not converted there to half the deficit. And they've certainly had made a fist of this. Hatate had the opportunity early, Kyogo's had a couple.
Yeah, it's been the tail though, hasn't it, of the Champions League. Big chances.
And punished for not taking them.
Yeah, punished for not taking them. Tonight has been so unfortunate with the 2 penalty awards against him for handball on both occasions.
It's back here with Eder Militao. Big long switch of play to Vinny Jr., who, I'm not even joking, he controlled with his back there. It bounced off his back and then drops down, and Celtic put pressure on him. It goes out for a throw-in off the Brazilian, as O'Reilly picks up on the far side and plays it short to Juranovic. Back to O'Reilly. Comes forward across halfway, right of the centre circle, finds Moy as we tick towards 28 minutes from the Bernabéu. It's O'Reilly, lifts the ball into the penalty area. It's headed clear only as far as Hatate. Gets the break of the ball, he's at the edge of the box, he shoots a goal and Courtois beats it away. Another chance for Celtic, this time fashioned brilliantly by Hatate at the edge of the box, but it stays Real Madrid 2, Celtic 0. Celtic have it back with Hatate, he gets too excited, puts too much on the pass for Kyogo, and it comes right through to Courtois, who's been tested twice in the last couple of minutes. 28 and a half in, Real Madrid 2, Celtic 0.
Yeah, it's actually a similar type of shot, isn't it? He's a bit further out, of course, this time, but it's the same height into the same side, into the right-hand side. And again, Courtois diving away to his right-hand side and parrying it away to safety. Good effort, though. Celtic creating chances, but just haven't been able to get that elusive goal.
Yeah, another frustrating night so far for Ange Postecoglou, who stands down there with his arms folded and his black jumper on. And there's Carvajal on this near side. Rolls it forward, Asensio with a back heel that is, and Rodrigo's in behind the full-back. He's now inside the penalty area, rolls it towards Asensio, cut out by Jens. And now it's Taylor for O'Reilly, who finds Aaron Moy. Marco Asensio getting the box of tricks out to play there.
Yeah, just coming short, and he knows that the runner's going, and he just flicks it first time round the corner, and he's away from Greg Taylor, and then you're not catching him. He's got that pace, but just failed at the end up. But here they are on their counter-attack again.
Yeah, it's Asensio again. He's up towards the edge of the box. He's past the Vinny Jr. cut out, breaks Rodrigo's way. Right angle of the box. Asensio gets it. Now out to the right angle again for Vinicius Jr. Asensio, short ball back to Kroos. First time low out to the right angle of the box once more for Carvajal. Back for Valverde to Kroos. And Valverde. Carvajal goes back on to the halfway line. Militao collects, steals himself away from Kyogo. Finds Kroos, who plays it back to Alaba. Half an hour in. 2 penalties. That's what sees Celtic behind. The first converted by Modric. The second converted by Rodrigo. Scoring their 4th and 7th goals of the season respectively for Real Madrid. Vinny Jr. gets an overlap from Ferland Mendy on the far side. Uses him eventually. Level with the edge of the D of the Celtic box now with Vinicius Jr. who finds Modric. Nicks it forward, blocked there by Starfelt. Kroos with the little chest down to Modric. He plays it back into the centre circle for Militao.
There's always danger when Real Madrid's got control of the game, because they play those little passes, waiting for the moment. They're in behind again.
Yeah, Rodrigo, left-hand side of the box, back towards Vinicius Jr. It's blocked, but the Brazilian picks up the scraps again, and he plays it across the 6-yard area. And it will bounce favourably for Celtic, cleared by Taylor, out for a Real Madrid throw-in on this near side on 31 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say, every time they have control, they play little passes, waiting for the moment, and then they've got the ability just to see where they can actually play that ball for the runner going, and it's really dangerous for the back four, because if you take your eye off it, you lose your concentration a little bit. They're in behind you. They've been in behind Celtic for so many occasions in this game, and that's where some of the penalty. Here they are again in between the lines playing.
Modric level the edge of the D, rolls it to the left for Vinny Jr. again, level with the penalty spot, back to Modric. First time flicks it forward for Mendy. Breaks out to Vinicius Jr. again on that far side. He's scampering into the midfield. Turns back the other way, looks to see what his options are. One of them's Modric, who's on the ball now. Modric with a wonderful cross fielder out to the right-hand side of the box for Carvajal. Controls level with the 6-yard line. Back to Asensio, holding off Maida. Looks up at the goal, he shoots and holds on. Good effort by Marco Asensio. Good build-up play by the holders. 32 in, Real Madrid 2, Celtic 0.
Yeah, Maida trying to stop him coming on the inside, and he just kind of brushes him off and finds the opportunity to get his left foot on that, trying to bend it round Joe Hart. Didn't quite get it into the corner, and Joe Hart easily saved, but again danger for Celtic.
Sports Sound here on BBC Radio Scotland, 810 medium wave on digital, online bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland, and BBC Radio Scotland Extra on your smart speaker. Match day 6. And it is Real Madrid with a 2-0 lead, but it's Celtic on the ball with Juranovic. Turns it out wide right for Abada, taking on Mendy. Abada, wonderful plays inside the area, goes down. Is that a penalty to Celtic? Yes it is! Neil Abada brought to the ground by Ferland Mendy, who's protesting his innocence. But Celtic have a penalty here and a chance to reduce the arrears on 33 minutes.
Yeah, another penalty in the game. He goes and he attacks him. He takes on Mendy down the line and pace. Yeah, and it's a difficult one. It looks like he just got enough for the ball, you know. I think this is going to be changed again.
Yeah.
The referee's obviously given it, but I think he's got enough in the ball.
Yeah, that was my impression. And she's taking on some advisement now, I think. She's telling Courtois to go back to his goal line, to be fair. Mendy is looking at the referee and wondering if this penalty is going to be rescinded. Josip Juranovic, meantime, has got the ball spotted. Well, it looks as though this is going to stand.
Yeah, I think it is, actually. And, yeah, this is a big opportunity now for Celtic to get back into this game. He's up against a 6'7" goalkeeper. Yeah,
Juranovic has got a fabulous record from the spot for Celtic, and he's got a chance here to bring them back to within 1 in the Spanish capital. The referee's just about ready. Courtois dancing on his goal line. Here goes Juranovic, right-footed, saved by Courtois, who throws himself to his right to deny the Croatian.
Well, there you go. That's the difference, isn't it? The real difference. Up against a 6'7" world-class goalkeeper, goes for power. He reads him, goes the right way, and he makes the big save. Brilliant save. I'm just watching the replay here. He throws himself away to his right-hand side, gets his big hands to it, knocks it away to safety.
The problem is, unless you send Thibaut Courtois the wrong way, you're struggling.
Yeah.
He is a giant between the goal frame for Real Madrid, for his country. And that's a fabulous save from the penalty. A game of 3 penalties. Real Madrid converting both of theirs, and Celtic spurning Paki yet another opportunity to score in this Champions League group.
Yeah, it is. I wondered at the time when it was given, was it a penalty? When I seen it in the replay, I thought he got it just enough on the ball, to be perfectly honest. But the referee seemed to just call it herself, and I don't know if they even went to VAR on it. Was it an obvious error?
It would have been checked. I mean, they would have looked at it. But they've obviously told the referee that it's the correct decision.
Yeah.
And that is.
Yeah. But then, if you can't score your penalties, Real Madrid put 2 of them in the back of the net.
Yep.
2-0 up. Celtic had the opportunity, and they're behind.
Yeah, Modric scored his penalty on 6 minutes. Rodrigo on 21.
I've got to say though, it was good play from Abada when he got the ball. Go and take the full back on in a 1v1 situation. He knows now that he's got the pace on him, that he can get there, so give it out to him, get him on a 1v1 situation, and don't be afraid, young man, to take on Mendy.
That's what you want from your winger, isn't it? That's what you want to see. You want to see head down, bursting into the box. He's actually had a good game, Neil Abada. Celtic have not played badly at all, yet they find themselves 2-0 down. But they'll feel they should be at least level in this game. There's Aaron Moy, but he's miscontrolled it. Mendy's forced it forward to Vinny Jr. Left-hand side of the Celtic box in 36.5 minutes. 2-0 Real as the disguised ball finds Rodrigo. Hart came from his goal. Rodrigo looks up as he turns to face him, and his shot blocked by Juranovic.
Yeah.
He comes back off the Real man. Goal kick Celtic.
I just thought Joe Hart, he used all his experience there, was going to go and dive at Rodrigo's and give away another penalty, but he actually did the right thing. He dropped back into his goal and covered his goal. So and eventually then Starfield was able to go and close Rodrigo down and get the block in.
Starfield looks up and plays it out to the right-hand side for Lila Bada. Moy ahead of him. Bada might have to use him here. There's no other obvious option. Plays it short to Aaron Moy. It's over, being faced by Valverde. Rolls it back to O'Reilly. Right centre area in the Real half. Out to Moy and back the way it comes to Starfelt, who finds Jens. Jens to Starfelt again. Short ball. Starfelt infield for O'Reilly. Forward to Moy. Manages to leave it for Juranovic. Be annoyed at that. Penalty saved by Courtois. Celtic's first penalty of the season actually was Giakoumakis at the weekend. He didn't score his either. 2 penalties this season for Celtic. It's remarkable, it's just 2 given the amount of attacking they do. But Giakoumakis failed against Livingston at the weekend, and here in the Bernabéu, Juranovic denied by one of the best goalkeepers we've seen, you would have to say, in Thibaut Courtois.
He's an improved goalkeeper from what I've seen him when he was younger. You know, he's got everything now. He had a wonderful Champions League final last year. Got man of the match in it, or player of the match, and now he's just making the big saves, but he's also improved with his feet also. So I think he's probably the benchmark, I think, for goalkeepers at the moment, and especially in Europe.
It's his 5th season at Real Madrid now. He's heading towards 100 caps for Belgium. As Kroos finds Carvajal, who finds Asensio. Back for Carvajal, steps away from Hatate, pushes it into the centre circle for Kroos. Moves it forward there to Ferland Mendy on the left-hand side. He finds Vinicius Jr. Rodrigo's waiting in the middle. Asensio is on the 18-yard line. Still Vinicius Jr. Wonderful trickery there as he tried to force his way through. He's actually hurt himself as he goes to ground. The Real Madrid supporters were looking for a penalty there. He just flicked it with his foot back over his head. It was wonderful to see.
Yeah.
39 minutes, Real Madrid 2, Celtic 0.
Yeah, and here's...
Here he goes again.
Caught on it.
Left-hand side of the box, pulls it back, blocked by O'Reilly. It's not been Vinicius Jr.'s night. Up to press. 39 played, Real Madrid 2, Celtic 0. One back by Toni Kroos, brilliantly there from Abada on the far side. I beg your pardon, Valverde's found Kroos now. It's Valverde's on it now as he nicks it forward. He couldn't quite pick out Rodrigo, and it comes right through to Joe Hart.
Yeah, the Uruguayan, he plays in that brilliant position in midfield. He finds himself in between the lines. He'll go and he'll look at, but he showed another part of his game there, working back to help his colleague out when he gave the ball away to win it back.
It's with Rio Hatate just at the edge of his own penalty area. He looks up, he spreads the play out to Taylor on the left. Maida is down the touchline. He's found Daisen Maida. He's had a good game as well. Obviously, had a shot at confidence, having been named in Japan's World Cup squad. So that's fired out to the right-hand side for Bada. Now it's moved forward there by O'Reilly to Hatate, back to O'Reilly, back to Hatate, back to O'Reilly in the centre circle, left-footed along the grass out to the right-hand side for Juranovic. Looks up at the Real box, swings the cross in, too much on it for Maida. Taylor will be able to keep it in play on this near side though. Greg Taylor's time to take a touch, but it's charged down by Asensio. Good work there by the Real Madrid number 11 as it goes out for a throw-in on the near side to Celtic, level with the Real Madrid 18-yard line.
Yeah, Celtic have had their moments in this game. They've controlled parts of it. They've passed the ball quite well, but they've been done with obviously.
Here they come. Taylor, low ball cut out by Militao, and that's going to go behind for Celtic's first corner of the evening. 41 minutes almost have been played in the Santiago Bernabéu. It's Real Madrid 2, Celtic 0.
But it's almost a storybook that's been written in this Champions League. Chances, big chances, obviously culminating in the penalty miss, and Courtois having a couple of big saves, but not able to take them.
Short corner to Abada, who crosses in, diving header away by Militao. Hatate picks it up the edge of the box, rolls it square there to O'Reilly, gets away from Valverde, and he's on the ball. He's won it from Kroos, and then he slips, and the referee decides there was a foul on Toni Kroos.
I tell you, I'm glad it was a foul. Toni Kroos didn't want it, because Celtic were absolutely outnumbered in the middle of the pitch, and they were nearly done on.
It's difficult to see what that's for, to be honest, isn't it?
He's won the ball, actually.
Yeah.
Very
strange decision.
It was a poor decision from the referee.
Just the fourth meeting between these clubs, competitively anyway. The European Cup quarter-finals in March 1980. Packy had a great view of that one, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You would have had a better view between the sticks, I would have thought, right enough.
I was too young, too inexperienced, Liam, at that point.
You weren't too far off at that point. Peter Latchford, Celtic goalkeeper. There was a pretty famous friendly Celtic played here as well, Alfredo Di Stefano's testimonial match here in 1967. Celtic won it 1-0.
I think we played a friendly actually against them down in Malaga. I don't know where it was, Malaga, down the coast. Anyway, we under Tommy Burns actually, we played a friendly against him. I'm not sure if it's in the record books.
I haven't looked that one up, Packy. I'll have to take your word for it. It's Real Madrid in possession on the far side with Vinicius Junior back to Mendy. 42.5 in, with Real Madrid leading by 2-0. This comes back to Courtois. It's the ball in the box and uses his feet well. It's a long ball towards. Well, Rodrigo was chasing it. Starfelt gets there first, and now it's with Josip Juranovic, who plays it short to Jens. 43 in. Good performance by Celtic, this, but it's Real Madrid 2, Celtic 0, and that is the cold, hard fact of the matter. Here comes Abada down that right-hand side, moving it in towards Moy. He was just in behind Aaron Moy, though, and Real Madrid can mop it up. With Modric getting onto the flick from Mendy. It's Kroos back to Alaba. And he plays it short to Militao.
Yeah, they just keep the ball in that final third a little bit longer, Celtic. Every time they get it, they think they have to go and create something. If you look at the difference between them and Real Madrid, when they're in the final third, they just keep moving the ball, waiting for the moment, and eventually that moment will come, and they have the ability then to use the ball perfectly. Celtic just control it a little bit. More composure at times is needed.
Rodrigo back to Militao. Forward it comes to Asensio. Rolls it out to Carvajal wide in the right, beyond the midway point of the Celtic half. Infield to Asensio. He and Valverde exchange several passes before it comes back to Militao, who finds Alaba. Everyone bar Courtois in the Celtic half right now. Big switch out to Carvajal, plucks it out of the Madrid sky, no problem. Finds Asensio, fires it across, blocked by O'Reilly, and out it goes for a Real Madrid throw-in, level with the Celtic penalty spot on this near side. Final minute of the first half. Asensio, what a reverse ball that is. Valverde, he's inside the box at the byline. His pass cut out by Jens, and behind for a Real Madrid corner right at the end of the first half here in the Bernabéu.
Yeah, they've done that on occasions now in this game. Brilliant. It looked as if they're looking away from that net. They play that little reverse pass in behind the Celtic defence. Great run from Valverde, great pick out from Asensio, and they're now getting their corner from it in the last kick of this game, probably in this first half. Really good play. In
swinger from Asensio here on this near side, left-footed. It's flicked off a Celtic head, I think, and behind. No goal kick's been given there. The Real Madrid players have the same impression of that as I do, but that's going to be a goal kick only to Celtic, which Joe Hart's taken quickly as we go into 1 minute of added time at the end here. Long ball from Hart. What a touch by Modric. And then he gets the bouncing ball, nods it infield to Valverde. Modric looks like he could play till he's 50.
Yeah, it's not even a touch. Right away he spotted where the danger was, but Joe Hart got the ball down from the goal kick. Maeda had drifted away out into this, and he was the one that was doing the covering, getting right out to put him under pressure, won the ball back. Brilliant play, and such an experienced player.
And he's magnificent. The Real Madrid number 10, captain's armband. As Celtic pick up, it is Aaron Moy on the right-hand side, crossing in. It's a decent delivery, but it's just a bit too close to Courtois, who grabs it on the 6-yard line. Real Madrid 2, Celtic 0. That solitary minute of stoppage time is just about over here.
Yeah, if you're going to put that ball into the box, you've got to put it in with better delivery than that for Courtois, just picking out of there.
Half-time in Madrid with Real leading 2-0 here. A tale of 3 penalties in the first half here. The first one converted by Modric. They were both, the Real Madrid ones, given for handball. And Luka Modric made no mistake after Murray Tients had used a hand. And that was 1-0. The second one arriving on 21 that went to VAR. But it was judged to have been a handball by Matt O'Reilly. This time Rodrigo stepped up to smash it home. Again, Hart guessed wrongly. Courtois guessed correctly as he denied Josip Juranovic after Lil Abad had been hauled to the deck by Ferland Mendy. But Celtic have made numerous other chances. Kyogo Furuhashi and Reo Hatate in particular. Hatate with 2 efforts from the edge of the box. Kyogo with a couple inside the area. The one where he picked it up on the right-hand side of the box to be denied by Courtois. If he'd hit it low, he would have had a better chance of bringing Celtic back to within a single goal, and their penalty could have done that as well. Unfortunately, it's been the story of their Champions League season. Half-time in the Santiago Bernabéu, Real Madrid 2, Celtic 0.
Celtic in the Champions League.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Celtic score!
Walk and talk to help raise money for BBC Children in Need.
Get your friends and family together to go for a walk in your favourite spot, challenging yourself to get the steps in to support children and young people where you live.
Join Joe Wicks and me, Michelle McManus, by doing 1 mile, 5 miles or even 100 miles, whatever it is. It could be a challenge or just an opportunity to get outdoors for a chat, because it's good for us all.
Just go to bbc.co.uk/Pudsey to get involved and start fundraising.
Walk and talk for children in need.
On BBC Radio Scotland.
So the latest scores in Champions League Group F: Real Madrid 2, Celtic 0. Luka Modric with the first penalty on 6 minutes. Rodrigo with the second penalty on 21. Juranovic had a penalty saved for Celtic on 35. In the other game in the group, Shakhtar Donetsk 0, Leipzig 1. Christopher Nkunku with a goal there on 10 minutes. As things stand, Real Madrid will top the group. Leipzig will go through in second spot. I think the first thing to say, Peter Grant, is it's been a really good game to watch.
Fantastic game to watch. Real Madrid have dominated the ball, real quality players, and it's fantastic watching them move about the pitch, you know, just the spaces they pick up. Toni Kroos never seems to get a sweat on, but always picks up the right areas. Modric just finding space, looking over his shoulder all the time, wherever it is in the pitch. It's like a big possession game for them, actually. People go out of possession, other ones fill it up, you know, and that's what the top quality players do. And it's been a joy to watch, but Celtic have give it a go. As I say, that's the pleasing thing about everything they've done so far. They've tried to get it, they've had a couple of opportunities themselves, and I think in both penalty kicks have been unfortunate, because I think the first one for Valverde is a miss kick and Jens turns his back and he hits it with his arm as he's going down, because he actually thinks it's going to hit him in the face.
But a clear penalty.
Yeah, but it hits his arm, yes. And Matt O'Reilly, it's hit him in the elbow actually, and if you watch it for one of the angles, the ball's skewing away off, you know, for a by kick. I think that's very, very harsh. It hits his elbow. Hand, I can see, because he'll say it's away from his body, but it's hit the back end of his elbow, and a booking on top of it, I find that incredible.
It's been a great game, Pat, hasn't it? We spoke about Celtic's approach before the match. Despite the results in the group, a lot of positivity, I think it's fair to say, among Celtic fans. The fans in that stadium tonight, again, will have enjoyed the approach and feel really disappointed that Celtic haven't something on the board going in at half-time.
Of course, and they've created chances out of being in control of the game at periods. It's been probably, that's the way it's been. Real Madrid in control of the ball, but they're much more clinical when they're in that front area, because they keep it, they pass it, they move, and then they just wait for the moment, and they're always trying to look to see it, get a runner going in behind, and they have the ability then to play the pass. Celtic a little bit at times, it's a wee bit more of pass, and then they kind of lose it in the final third at times when they're in great positions. They have created some great chances. The penalty, of course, not scoring the penalty just sums up to almost the full tournament so far for them, that they've had made chances, haven't been able to take them, and that has been the difference. And as Peter said, they were so unlucky with the penalties against them. You know, in another game that may not happen, and then they would be still in this game, and rightly so, because they have performed well.
Yeah, they performed very well. You know, Kyogo had a couple of good chances on the edge of the area. Hatate created a good opportunity for himself, and it was interesting. You know, you saw the manager Ange Postecoglou, you know, clasping his fists together when the penalty was awarded. He must have thought, that's it, we're right back in this game. But it was It wasn't a great penalty, was it?
Well, look at it, Kerry. I'm looking at Packy will tell you better than me. We were always told when you're playing against a big goalkeeper, which obviously Courtois is, keep the ball as low as you possibly can. Aim for his feet, down as low as you can. So you'd say the same for the penalty kick. Was it a good height for him? You'd say Kyogo's chance, was it a good height for him? You'd say Hatate's shot were all at good heights for somebody at 6'7". So I was disappointed with Juranovic's penalty because it was always high, no matter what side. If the keeper's guessing it, he's always saving that one, that's for sure. You know, he hits it low and hard. He's got to take that a little bit longer to down because of his size. So I think they're big opportunities. Kyogo, it'd probably been better for Kyogo to miss the ball because Abada was right behind him.
Yeah, the first chance.
You know, that's the only thing. And I've been impressed with Hatate. I thought Hatate's been on the ball, he's looked up, he's made forward passes, he's got on the edge of the box, and he's played a little bit, I think, higher today, and I've been impressed with him. So I think Celtic have given as good as they get, but as you say, the quality in the opposition. I mean, Vinicius should score, the one he puts over the bar, Joe's had a great save. You know, so let's not be kidded. Real Madrid have been excellent at times in possession of the ball with wonderful, wonderful players. But Celtic have given as good as they've got, and that, as I say, has been the way the tournament has been for them, and I'm pleased that they've done this because I didn't want them to go out with a damp squad. When it goes 2-0, it's easy to go 3, 4, 5, 6. That's easy when you're in an arena like that, and they've not done that. They've kept Chapman on the door and they've kept trying to have a go.
Yeah, I mean,
what Real Madrid have been doing, is that they push almost 4 players high up against Celtic's back 4, and then they work from there. You know, they push Valverde up, they push Asensio up, and they're almost man for man, and then they'll check off, somebody will go in behind, and it creates real problems because you can't get the midfielders to go back and pick them up. They're almost playing, and the ability then of Modric and Kroos and them on the ball, they're not going to give it away. They're not going to get exposed because they don't give the ball away, even if you go and put pressure on them. And they're able then, if you do step out, they're able to put balls into those little areas, and they do it so well. If you look at Celtic, it's more about playing, making runs from more a deeper midfield area, and if it comes off brilliantly, which it has in certain points, but it's not as controlled as the way that Real Madrid is doing it.
You see the way Cruz does it, Packy, don't you? The Cruz does it. We were talking about Callum McGregor prior to it, Kenny.
Yeah.
He picks up fantastic positions, so it doesn't allow you to go out. As soon as you do your first clearance, he's pulling it down his chest. As soon as he pulls it down his chest, Packy's right, they've got a front 4, but then Modric will find the wee pocket. Valverde, Asensio, they find the wee pocket, and they don't go square with their pass. They just go bang. They're in between you. And that's how the top quality players.
Speaking of top quality, just watching that, I love where Modric is prepared to take the ball. You know, he looks surrounded and he demands it. He doesn't lose it. He does something positive with it. It's a joy to watch it.
But you could go and man mark him because you look, you think, oh, I'm tight. And Packy's right, but they ends up with the space because then Valverde will run. So it means the defenders have got to go back. Now Modric gets 10 yards of space. And it's all because of Valverde's run, not because he's Modric's position. It's just because he's dragging people back and nobody else can come into that space to pick. And it's the timing of it. That's the most important thing. Because if you do it too early, people can lock onto you. These guys are that good. They know they work at it all the time. They've got wonderful awareness of the game in and out of possession, and it's a joy to watch. And to be fair to Celtic have battled away. They've got the ball, they've had opportunities, they've got the penalty kick, they've got a couple of half chances. And listen, it's been a proper game. Really enjoyed it.
It's been really good, Tom. Just to say, Package, we spoke with the manager before the game, and if things keep going like this, if the second half is similar, we're going to see a carbon copy of the post-match press conference from the manager, aren't we? Because he's been frustrated. He's seen chances not converted, and that's been the story of this campaign for Celtic, and it's been more of the same today. We're going to hear that from the manager post-match, you would think.
Who's that one, Jay?
Yeah, just yourself, Tom. Yourself.
Yeah, I think we are. Yeah, we are. Look, Celtic have been good offensively. They've been very good. But as the boys have been saying in commentary, you know, to miss a penalty, like when Juranovic was lining up that penalty, we're looking down from a great height here, and Courtois looks the size of a house. Honestly, he looks massive. I know he's 6'7", so he is big, but he just looks even bigger than that. And it's almost like that Juranovic was the underdog in the penalty. And it's a great save. All the shots at Courtois have been at a good height, as the boys were saying in commentary. But Celtic have had them. And they've been in this game. And they're 2-0 down to 2 penalties. They're both I think they're both penalties, but they're unfortunate. It's not like someone's been hacked down, and it's just an unfortunate, 2 unfortunate incidents. Vinicius Jr. misses an absolute sitter for 3-0. But Celtic are doing what they've done in the previous games. They're putting a lot into it, but they're stymieing themselves by not taking their chances. And the missed penalty is just the piece de resistance, you know? I mean, you can't even score a penalty, having created so much. It just tells you their Champions League story this season. It's one of missed opportunities, and it's finishing as it started.
Pat, we found the match report from that game that yourself and Peter touched on. I can see Peter's concerns when I see the team selections. In 1995, Tommy Burns was given an invitation to play a friendly against Real Madrid. Of course, he took that invitation. So the Celtic team that day: Bonner, Boyd, McKinlay, O'Neill, Mowbray, Grant, Nicholas, McStay, Van Hooijdonk, Walker and O'Donnell. What are your memories, Pat, of that day?
Well, what I do remember is playing against a Real Madrid team that every single time any player got the ball, they almost controlled it off their first touch into space. That actually lives in me, watching them. You had no chance to get close to them, because every time you went close, they would control the ball round you, to the side of you, and they left us trilling at times. We weren't used to it. We're not used to that level playing in Scotland, to be perfectly honest. And that was my lasting memory of it. It was a friendly. It was a great opportunity for us to go out and play against.
You were lucky you were in goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was playing against Redondo.
You said to me during the game there, you were saying to me he was the best player you ever played against.
Absolutely. He was about 6'4", but he had feet like a ballerina. He'd done a step over and went by me, and I thought it was Casper the Ghost going through me. I'd never even seen the ball, you know, I never even seen it. But Packy's right. But then you name that team, that was typical Celtic. Look at that, all the forward players that was playing. So you ken what I was like in the middle of the pitch.
You were tired that night.
I was tired that night. I could sleep. That's for sure.
So from a Celtic perspective then in this second half, Pat, do you expect any changes from the manager?
Yeah, he will be. He put players on. Players will get tired. There's no question about that, and he will make his changes, and the changes will be exactly just to fit in exactly the way that he wants them to play. There'll be no different. Matt Riley's done well in the middle of the pitch. Also, he's there mostly on his own, but he's controlling the game at times for them. He's able to switch the ball and link up a little bit. So they haven't been done too much on the counter-attack, that's for sure, and they've been in this game. So I expect he'll say to them, lads, listen, the positive here is we've created chances, keep doing what you're doing. You've been unfortunate to be behind because of the penalties. There's nothing you can do about that, really. So, yeah, you've done well in the first half, continue into the second half, and if we do have to make changes, the same message will go across to the players coming on: you continue doing what I want you to do.
The one thing I would take from this game, if I was the manager, I'd be taking this as a coaching session when I go back, to see midfielders. Matt O'Reilly receiving the ball a few times has passed it back. You see Tony Cruz receiving the exact same ball, the ball ends up 10 yards further up the pitch, because he goes bang, turn, pass, forward. It doesn't even touch it. The ball very rarely stops.
Targets higher up the pitch, Peter.
Absolutely, Packy. So it'd be a coaching tool for me, because if you're playing against the best and you're wanting to try and match them at certain things, well, they're the wee things you can get better from. So these are always the things you can take from the game. So for Matt O'Reilly, looking at Tony Cruz playing in that position, look at the different. Look, you've taken a touch and you've went back the way. He's taken a touch, and on that half turn, he's already looked forward and he's made that pass, and he's taken 3 or 4 players out of the game with that one pass. That's what you can take from this game, even as a coach and a manager, no matter how much experience you have. But it's great for your younger players, how they go and play against the best. This is what the best do, and that's what I would be going through. And I'd be doing it even if I was a player. When I played against the best players and I looked against the best players, that's the only thing I open home. How's he better than me? He never allows me to get near him. As Packy said, we couldn't get near them because of the first touch. So use that as a coaching tool. So the manager can take all these things from that, and his team's not let themselves down. But that can be the difference. He maybe not beating Real Madrid, but maybe beating a Shakhtar, maybe beating a, Leipzig. Yeah. That quality. You maybe do that the next time. So then his next time is to say, well, can I become third? Can I get second? And push for that. And that's the progress he's looking for. Financially, we know they're never going to get anywhere near it. So they've got to try and do it in a football sense. And you're hoping you can have whole day players and add to it. That's what you're hoping during this period, instead of losing them when they're talking about the Matt O'Reillys and that moving away. That's what you don't want to be happening when you're trying to build something to progress.
So the half-time score lines in Champions League Group F: Real Madrid 2, Celtic 0, Shakhtar Donetsk 0, Leipzig 1. Let's then get back to the Bernabéu for the second half of Real Madrid against Celtic with Pat Bonner and Liam McLeod.
Thanks, Kenny. Real have won the European Cup 14 times. 8 of those triumphs have come in the Champions League era. They've also won 5 Super Cups, 2 UEFA Cups, 4 FIFA World Club Cups. Of course, defeated Eintracht Frankfurt 2-0 thanks to goals from Alaba and Benzema to win this year's Super Cup in Helsinki as they look to defend their title. And it's Celtic who get the second half underway in their black change colours with the green pinstripes on the jersey. Real Madrid in their all white, as you would expect here. This is a club that's never failed to get out of the Champions League groups. And we have seen their great rivals Barcelona toil in this competition. It's not just Scottish clubs who have had problems in the Champions League this season. Barcelona and Juventus are 2 prime examples of it, as Courtois picks up and shifts it to Alaba. No changes for either team at half-time, so it's Hart in goal for Celtic. It's Juranovic, Starfelt, Jensen, Taylor, O'Reilly, Moy and Hatate, Abada, Kyogo and Maida. For Real, it's Courtois in goal, Carvajal, Militao, Alaba and Mendy, Valverde, Kroos and Modric, Asensio, Rodrigo and Vinicius Jr. And it's Celtic on the attack with Juranovic. Flicks it out to the right here, level the edge of the D for Moy. Back into the middle there for O'Reilly. Gets the left foot cross ball in. Booted away by Militao. Underneath it's Vinicius Jr., who's only managed to prod it forward to Hatate, but the referee blows her whistle, and that's going to be a free kick to Real Madrid. The Celtic players didn't agree with that decision. 2-0 to Real. We're in the second minute of the second half.
I didn't agree with it myself. I think maybe he should give a foul for a kind of a high boot, but he has to lift his leg to try to control the ball, and it gives a free kick, kills the momentum from Celtic, who are in a good position.
Celtic have lost in each of their last 8 visits to Spain, including last season. They threw away a 2-0 lead at Betis in Seville. Zabada plays it infield to Moy. And of course in the Europa League, as Moy gets it through to Hatate, finds Kyogo, back to Hatate, and then it's a whistle again. Now, I'm not sure exactly what happened there. Kyogo Furuhashi is the guilty party by the looks of things.
Yeah, she's booked him. She obviously thinks that Kyogo's elbowed the player in the face.
It's Militao.
He's just holding him. Oh, that is never a booking. He's just holding him off. He's just using his hands to put him off, and he goes down as if he's been elbowed, and he hasn't been even touched hardly.
Yellow for Kyogo. Matt O'Reilly was booked in the first half. The concession of the penalty after the VAR check. And there, Militao, who joined in 2019 from Porto in Portugal, Brazil international. He's part of the Brazil team that won the Copa America in 2019 when they beat Peru in the final in Rio. And he's taking on some water down below us. Will be a Real Madrid free kick at the edge of their penalty area. Celtic in their 11th Champions League group stage campaign since their first one just over 20 years ago. Only ever won twice away from home in the group stage of the Champions League. Spartak Moscow, Georgios Samaras with that late goal, and then a 3-0 win in Brussels against Anderlecht as Modric moves it forward here. And it's going to be Mendy infield to Kroos. Now to Modric, to Toni Kroos, and then to Valverde, who finds Alaba. And Militao, who's made a full recovery from that previous incident with Kyogo. There's Federico Valverde moving it back the way. And it's Alaba to Kroos. They're so comfortable in possession. They had quite the roller coaster journey towards the Champions League title last season, did Real Madrid. Looked dead and buried against both Chelsea and Manchester City in the knockout stages, particularly against Pep Guardiola's team, as Maida brings down Militao on the far side. Free kick Real Madrid just beyond the midway point of their own half.
Yeah, again, I didn't think there was much in that. He did just connecting with a player, but it's not always a foul every single time you touch a player, that's for sure. But Real Madrid trying to pass the ball through the lines and doing it very effectively, every single one of them comfortable on the ball.
Here goes Rodrigo driving forward. He's got Vinicius Junior to his left, finds him. Level with the edge of the D of the Celtic box. Comes back to Ferland Mendy. Infield for Modric. Moving towards the penalty area. Decides to use the back heel for Asensio. Out to Vinicius Junior. Level with 18. Asensio on the overlap. Level with the 6. Crosses in. It's a good one. It's a header. Back across the 6-yard box from Carvajal, which is mopped up by Juranovic. Shows a bit too much of it there too. His international teammate Modric. Now won back by Vinicius Junior, who's dancing his way into the penalty area. Smashes it across. Celtic get it half away, and Jens then scoops it up high into the air. And yes, Celtic clear their lines. That was ominous. That was really good build-up play by Real Madrid. 50 on the clock, 2-0 they lead.
Yeah, Juranovic doing well initially, and then who closes him down? But Modric, that player who never stops. We know that he's ability on the ball, but I'll tell you what, he does the other shift just as much, closing people down, always looking for it.
He's a great professional. Here's Modric. Almost 160 caps for Croatia and still going. Here comes Valverde, moving towards the Celtic penalty area. Pace now to the overlap to Carvajal on the slide, pulls it back. Oh, what a finish from Marco Asensio. Nothing Celtic could do about that one. That's Real Madrid's number 11, smashes it low into the bottom left corner. And it is Real Madrid 3, Celtic 0 in the Bernabéu.
Yeah, Greg Taylor down that left-hand side, 2v1. He had it back off when Valverde got the ball, drove him into the box, and then when he laid off the ball, there was Asensio coming in, and the ball was played into his path, and he struck it first time with pace right through Joe Hart. Really good finish. It was Carvajal, the overlapping fullback, that played it into his path. Joe Hart, no chance. Great finish to make it 3-0.
Celebrations from Ancelotti on the touchline. Asensio certainly enjoyed that one. It's just his second appearance of the season. He was a substitute at the weekend in the draw with Girona. And that is a fabulous take. Man who was in Spain's World Cup squad in 2018. Has not always been guaranteed a start here at Real Madrid. He's had time away on loan.
I think he's been very effective tonight, really effective. The positions he's picked up, his ability on the ball, his runs in behind, really effective in that position. Outside, almost playing as the right-hand side, but will come inside also.
He's been at the club for a while. He arrived in 2014 from Mallorca. Andre Silva puts Leipzig 2-0 up against Shakhtar Donetsk. The other game in the group tonight in Warsaw.
Yeah, I've got to say though, probably Real Madrid and Leipzig are the two best teams in this group. They had a bad start, Leipzig, but they've come good at the end up.
Here comes Vinicius Junior at pace again towards the box, slipping it through. Starfelt did well just to hold off David Alaba, who'd gone all the way up into the Celtic penalty area. Joe Hart has it in his gloves now as we approach 53 minutes. Real Madrid leading by 3-0. The penalties would have been a source of frustration, all three of them for Ange Postecoglou in the first half, but that third goal from Real Madrid was down to class.
Yeah, they shifted the ball back across that right-hand side again, where we say Valverde getting space. Then he had the backup of Carvajal, who was driving forward to create the 2v1, and then Asensio picking up the position at the edge of the box.
Juranovic for Abada, meantime up the other end, crosses in, and Carvajal with Maida behind him puts it behind for a Celtic corner.
Yeah, good ball, really good ball across that, almost 4 yards out with pace, and that's where you want to play it. Don't lift it up in the air where the goalkeeper had a chance to come and intercept.
Short corner taken as Moy crosses in, headed away by Valverde, only as far as Hatate. Here is O'Reilly as he moves it back into the centre circle there for Juranovic. Switch of play to Moy. Taylor's in a good position if he wants to use him. Instead he plays it infield to Hatate. Movement ahead of him. Back out Taran Moy, and then to Taylor, level with the 18. Moy looks for Taylor again. It's an overhead clearance there by Carvajal, who was on his way to the ground. And in the end it comes bouncing off a Celtic player and behind for a goal kick to Real Madrid. 54 on the clock, 3-0 to Los Blancos.
Yeah, and it's a stage of the game now that you'll see Real Madrid, there's no pressure whatsoever on them now, and they're all good players. They will play with a bit of class. Celtic just got to hang in there now and not give anything else away. That would be a disappointing night for them. Even though the two penalties, they'll look to them and say yeah, that's a bit unfortunate, but you don't want to lose this game any more than 3-0.
There's Tony Kroos moving it left to right of the centre circle for Valverde. He's now bursting forward. O'Reilly trying to stay with him. Valverde leaves it for the right-hand side there for Asensio. Rolls it into Rodrigo. Cleared by Jens, only as far as Valverde. At the right angle of the box, back to Tony Kroos. Controls with the undersole. Finds Asensio. Moves it back to Kroos. To the right-hand side of the Celtic box for Carvajal. He finds Asensio with a disguised ball. Opportunity for Valverde here. His effort blocked by Jens. Breaks to Kroos. Square for Modric. And he rolls it to the right-hand side for Carvajal. Looks up, nonchalant ball in towards Rodrigo. The challenge from Starfelt. It's come off Rodrigo last, says the referee. And it will be a Celtic goal kick. Real Madrid 3, Celtic 0 on 55.
Yeah, that control again. Valverde picking up that right-hand side in that space. Obviously, Matt O'Reilly, last player in the Celtic sort of kind of midfield, dragged across to one side, and that space on the opposite side then. Valverde picking it up and then being really dangerous. As soon as he picks it up, he drives forward and creates a real problem for the fullback.
Rio Hatate, left of the centre circle. Low ball into the Real half for Moy. Keeps it going. Out to the right, Abada. Juranovic goes away on the overlap. It's Abada. It's a low ball back to Aaron Moy. Poor first touch. He's gone down. I don't think there's any question of a penalty there, though. The Celtic supporters roar in disgust at the challenge on the Australia international. Real Madrid come away with it. Modric flicks it high with the outside of the boot out to Vinicius Junior on the near side. Read by Starfelt. Out for a throw-in.
Yeah, it was always obstruction actually in the box. You can still give free kicks for obstruction. Non-direct free kick.
Yeah, well, but the touch should have been better from Moy. He was in a really good position inside the penalty area. He'll be annoyed with that. But yeah, I mean, there was certainly an appeal from the supporters more than Aaron Moy's teammates, which is normally a telltale sign. As Valverde picks up in the centre circle and rolls it to Dani Carvajal on the right. Infield to Asensio and back to Carvajal. 3-0 to Real Madrid in the Bernabéu. It is Asensio, short ball to Valverde. He finds Kroos in the centre circle. He spreads the play out to Mendy on this near side. Short ball for Vinicius Junior. And now Modric. Vinny Junior again, and then Modric gives it away. He gave it away in the first few seconds of the match, and then he brings down Abada. But generally, wayward Luka Modric passes are collector's items. Matt O'Reilly with the long left foot ball. Carvajal underneath it though, and it's easy for him to nod it back to Courtois.
Yeah, it's going to be a better ball from Matt O'Reilly there. It's going to be he's tried a kind of almost a diagonal through pass, but it's up in the air and it was easy for the defenders.
Valverde, right of the centre circle, finds Vinicius Junior, who leaves it for Mendy. He passes it back to the Brazilian, who's on it, level with the 18. Low ball back to Modric, first time in field to Rodrigo, then to Kroos, clips it first time with the right foot out to the left-hand side for Ferland Mendy, who goes back to Modric, looks up at the Celtic box, elects to switch the play, left to right to Asensio. He's got support from Carvajal out there, instead he uses Valverde, now it's back into the feet of Asensio to the edge of the box, the shot blocked by Jens. Not for the first time Moritz Jens has blocked a Real Madrid shot this evening. Cleared by Juranovic, but it's a poor ball, straight to Kroos. He finds Rodrigo, it just got stuck under his foot there. Taylor next ends back with Joe Hart. He moves it to the left of his box for Greg Taylor. On 58 minutes, Real Madrid 3, Celtic 0.
I just wonder if the manager at this stage now will go to the bench a little bit. I see some of them down here warming up and make the changes. He's got nothing to lose now. They're 3-0 down. Just get the players on to experience it.
Yeah, there's a few down there. Giakoumakis, Forrest, Turnbull, Jota, Haksabanovic, all doing a little bit of a warm-up down below us. Way down below us, we're so high up here. As Modric picks up in the centre circle, bursting forward. Valverde to his right, instead he plays it forward to Rodrigo, tries to clip it over Jens' head into his own path, but Jens does enough to get it away. Poor touch this time by Militao. It's now with Abada, gets away from Kroos, down he goes, no free kick. Real Madrid play on with Carvajal, who finds Rodrigo, it's in behind Vinicius Junior. Infield to Asensio up against Moy. And in the 60th minute, approaching the hour, here's Vinicius Junior inside the box. Clever chip ball in, which comes off Starfelt's head and behind over the crossbar for a Real Madrid corner.
Yeah, he needed to get a header. He needed to do that defensive action, because Rodrigo was in behind. It was a lovely little chip ball just nearly over the back, the top of Karl Starfelt, but they give away the corner. But Celtic are really kind of struggling to get a control on the game now. Real Madrid's taken over a bit here.
In comes the corner kick, aimed towards Rodrigo, headed away by Aaron Moy. Rodrigo's good in the air, as Manchester City know only too well after that great act of European escapology in the Champions League semis last term. Here's Vinicius Junior stepping away from Maida. Then he jinks back onto the left foot and rolls it to Modric, the left angle of the Celtic box. Looks up, cross ball's good to the back post. Comes off a Celtic head. Jens tries to deal with it, doesn't deal with it. Chance here, Rodrigo. This back to goal. Militao, then to the edge of the box for Toni Kroos, who looks for the top right corner. But he's off target, is past the right hand post, and stays Real 3, Celtic 0 on an hour.
Yeah, it's, as I said, Real Madrid's just getting a upper hand now and controlling this game, and they're making chances. Celtic's not able to get any control. They're giving the ball away each time that they have it. Like this.
Abada's just done exactly that. Alaba, his pass goes straight to O'Reilly, but it bounces off O'Reilly for Mendy, who finds Valverde. Valverde on the turn away from Maida, shoots, blocked by Jens again.
It was a great play from Valverde. They're still on it, so on graceful. The edge of the box.
Here he goes, low ball across, goal! Brilliantly taken! Vinicius Junior. Fabulous cross from the right-hand side by Valverde. And Vinicius Junior smacks it past Joe Hart for Real Madrid's 4th goal. Celtic right bang up against it here in the Santiago Bernabéu. But it's Real Madrid 4, Celtic 0.
Well, that's an incredible bit of play from Valverde. Initially he picks the ball up over the right hand side, and then he gets it back again, and he puts this fantastic cross across the 6-yard box with pace. And there was Vinicius Junior coming in, getting him in front of Karl Starfelt, and Joe Hart committed, and it was into the back of net. Really good goal from them to make it 4-0. Now it's danger time for Celtic. They are making the changes.
Yeah, there's 4 changes being made by Ange Postecoglou. Quadruple change. Kyogo's come off. Giakoumakis replaces him. Haksabanovic, Turnbull and Jota are all down there as well. And it looks as though Real are going to make a couple of changes as well. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse for Celtic, Karim Benzema, the player of the tournament last season, the current Ballon d'Or winner, is going to come on for the home team. They're also going to bring Lucas Vazquez on, Spanish international, as Turnbull replaces Moy. Still Celtic making the substitutions. On comes Jota, and he has made his way over to that left-hand side. And Neil Abada is going to come off to be replaced by Haksabanovic. By the look of things, Daizen Maida was the other Celtic player to be withdrawn, Paggy.
Yeah, listen, to get them on the pitch, let them experience it. But they've
still got a job.
They've got to do a job here from that perspective. Yeah, Real Madrid taking the opportunity to make their changes also.
Well, they love him here, don't they? Vinicius Junior, he's just put them 4-0 up, and he's going to be replaced by Benzema. And the other change will be Dani Carvajal to be replaced by Lucas Vazquez. The game long gone as far as Celtic are concerned. Real Madrid will win this group, and they will go through to the last 16 to play one of the runners-up in one of the other sections. As Jota gets an early touch, early feel of the ball, having just come on. He was back on the score sheet against Livingston at the weekend. Celtic's attention will soon turn to a home game against Dundee United, who they put 9 goals past at Tannadice earlier this season. That game, one of the matches we're covering this weekend. There's games Friday, Saturday, Sunday across the 4 divisions. Championship and Premiership action on Friday. 2 Premiership matches, the rest of the Championship Leagues 1 and 2 on Saturday, and then another couple in the top flight on Sunday. Full coverage on Sportsound. Of course, Hearts are in Turkey to close their Conference League campaign tomorrow night against Istanbul Başakşehir. It's a very early kick-off that for a midweek game. 3:30 UK time for that one. That too live on Sportsound. Real Madrid are going to make another 2 changes. Nacho, number 6, will come on. Dani Ceballos too. Real pick up on this left-hand side. Rodrigo in field to Benzema. Benzema getting it back. He had to come off at Celtic Park on match day 1.
Well, you know what he's going to do in this game. He's not going to set up as a centre forward. He's going to be all over that front line. He'll drift away out onto the left-hand side, and he'll be really difficult to pick up. And he'll be desperate for his goal also. That's for sure, Benzema.
Haksabanovic for Celtic up the other end. It's come through to Giakoumakis, who shoots right down the throat of Courtois, and Celtic spurn another fabulous opportunity that they tend to just simply slot away domestically. 65 minutes in, it stays at 4. Here's Hatate. His pass towards goal is blocked by David Alaba. Still with a turn ball from distance. And it's a comfortable take at his near post by Courtois. Celtic had 3 bites at that. Rio Hatate didn't look like he believed he could score there.
No, and I don't think Giakoumakis also. Oh, what a chance.
That ball by Modric for Asensio. Hart commits himself and does well. Comes outside his own box, slides and puts it out for a Real Madrid throw-in on the far side. 4-0 to the holders, who are going to make their latest double change. And it will be Luka Modric to come off. Another will receive a warm...
They love him here.
Yeah.
He got a standing ovation when he came off at Celtic Park. He's getting the same here from his own fans tonight. You know, he's a wonderful player in the middle of the pitch, dictates the game, always looking to get on it, does the hard shift also, and a wonderful player. Just again, you know, what a ball that was from. Was it Benzema that played that ball through for Asensio?
Modric.
Was it Modric?
Yeah.
Was it? Sorry, Modric. Well, either our star players, but Celtic had the opportunity again. Giakoumakis through, and he hits it straight down the middle at Courtois, who just batted it away. Just play it into the corner. Get composure. Just tuck it into the corner low, as Peter Grant described it half-time. If you're going to beat a goalkeeper like that, not up in the air straight at him.
Nacho has come on as well for Alaba. Modric replaced by Dani Ceballos, who was at Arsenal. Here is Benzema, shifting it back the way there for the aforementioned Ceballos. And out to Benzema on this near side. Ceballos has it again. He was an FA Cup winner alongside Kieran Tierney when he was at Arsenal. Was Ceballos. Pass forward by Kroos is cut out there by Juranovic, who goes long for Jota. Jota trying to control. He did briefly get goal side of Militao, who recovers well. And it's moved back by Ceballos to Courtois. And on 67, it stays Real Madrid 4, Celtic 0.
Yeah, another, what is it, 23 minutes left in this game. At 4-0, you're just hoping that Celtic could maybe score a goal, get something back. But I'm afraid it's going to be Real Madrid is the one that's the more danger.
You'd probably take this right now, wouldn't you? You don't want it getting worse. Celtic's record European defeat was in Spain, 7-0 at the Nou Camp. A Messi hat-trick amongst the goals in this competition. As Haksabanovic goes down and the free kick goes Celtic's way on the halfway line. Yeah, Carlo Ancelotti had a warm exchange with Luka Modric down below us. He's been a real mainstay at this club for a long time now as the Croatian.
Well, he's the leader, isn't he? He's got the quality, he's got the leadership, he dictates how this game has been played, the tempo, everything about him.
Well, he was the best player at the last World Cup finals,
yeah,
wasn't he, Modric? Hatate squares it for Greg Taylor, who's in a central position midway inside the Real Madrid half, short to O'Reilly's pass cut out there by the impressive Valverde. It goes back to Courtois, who blasts clear with the left foot. Now it goes for a throw-in on this near side to Celtic. And about the halfway line, Juranovic with the chance to bring the Scottish champions back to within 1 at 2-1 in the first half. His penalty saved by Courtois. Celtic trailed through 2 penalties from Modric and Rodrigo, and they've conceded twice in the second half to Asensio and Vinicius Junior.
They were good goals, really good goals. Asensio's goal was a really good strike, and then of course Valverde involved in the final one, which was a great ball across that 6-yard box, just waiting for somebody to get on the end of it.
Yeah, it's the combination, isn't it, that they scored. That was the combination for the first goal at Celtic Park, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Vinicius Junior, and of course it was the combination that won them the Champions League in Saint-Denis in May. Real Madrid knock it out for a throw-in on this near side to Celtic, level with the Real 6-yard line. As Mendy puts it out, and it's taken quickly by Haksabanovic to Juranovic to Haksabanovic again. It's pass cut out by Mendy. It's now with Toni Kroos. Good footwork, but it's won back by Giakoumakis, who takes it out to this near side. It's come off him last and out for a Real Madrid throw. 4-0 to the hosts. You don't quite want to see, when it comes to Celtic, it's been a Champions League campaign to forget, because there have been moments in each game, but there's the 2 draws against Shakhtar apart. It has been disappointing, it has been frustrating. As Leipzig, they've won 4-0 up against Shakhtar.
They're paying back Shakhtar for that first
They are
result.
indeed. Have some of that. Here come Real Madrid down the right-hand side to pull back the edge of the box. Valverde shoots, what a finish! From just outside the D, Federico Valverde has absolutely rocketed that past Joe Hart, and suddenly Celtic are on the receiving end of a hammering in the Spanish capital. Real Madrid 5, Celtic 0.
Oh, what a strike again. You know, you cannot leave him free round the edge of the box. The ball's just cut back to him along that 18-yard box. He plays with his right foot. And this time I think it was Vasquez that came on, and he just side foots it across Joe Hart into the side net. And what a brilliant finish. Joe Hart, not a hope. What a player, what a performance tonight from him, picking up those brilliant positions. You know, you're talking to him, that where would he play? On the right-hand side? No, he plays right across the line at times, and he will always be looking to get into positions to score. And then what a finish he's got on him. Fantastic.
It's a brilliant goal. It's his 8th of the season. He's been in terrific goal-scoring form as Valverde, the Uruguay international. You'll be seeing a lot of him in the next few years, I would imagine.
I think he was a player that couldn't score goals either, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's the thing that he was lacking. Here comes Celtic. O'Reilly's got it at the edge of the box. He shoots and he puts it wide.
That's
Goal
the
kick.
difference.
Yeah.
That's slightly the difference between the two. Given the opportunity, this time Matt O'Reilly, good position, similar position actually, that Verdi was in, and he fails to hit the target.
Jesus Vallejo is going to come on for Real Madrid. Their final change. He's someone who barely gets a game. Wears the number 5 here, but don't ever really see too much of him. The Real Madrid first team, who signed from Zaragoza in 2015. He's had limited opportunities. He was at Wolves actually in England for a spell. He played at the Olympics in Tokyo, the delayed summer games in 21 for Spain, and it is the home team in possession here. It's moved forward. Nacho out to Ceballos on this near side to Mendy. So Celtic still have 17.5 minutes of the 90 to try and ensure this doesn't get worse. 5-0 it is. I mentioned their record defeat in Europe is 7-0 at Barcelona. And Real Madrid don't look as though they're finished yet. Benzema hasn't even gotten in the act yet as Valverde comes forward. Brilliant play, rolls it to his right. Opportunity here. Asensio's at the edge of the penalty area. Looks up at goal, blocked by David Turnbull. Headed away by Starfelt. Kroos heads it out to this near side for Rodrigo. Touches it back to Mendy. Rodrigo again, it's a clever chip ball, looking for Benzema. He might get onto it on the turn. More fresh air than ball. He's annoyed with himself. Is Karim Benzema. His heart holds on, and it stays Real Madrid 5, Celtic 0 on 73.
There was a great block by Turnbull there when the shot came in initially. But I'll tell you what, 5-0 up Real Madrid, and Benzema hasn't scored yet. I know he's only on the pitch a while. He will be looking to get on the target. There's no question about it.
Haksabanovic to Turnbull, cross ball in, is headed behind for a Celtic corner on this near side. Yeah, only Cristiano Ronaldo scored more goals for Real Madrid than Karim Benzema has.
He was sensational last season in the Champions League. I know injuries curtailed him a little bit this year, but he was almost every game he was looking to be on it. He drifts away to the left-hand side, and then suddenly he's back in to this goal-scoring position.
I know Rodrigo scored those goals against Manchester City, but it was Benzema's Champions League, wasn't it?
Yeah.
As the corner comes in. It's flicked away, and Ceballos has managed to get into the path of Nacho's driving forward, and Benzema and Rodrigo are away on the left-hand side. Celtic majorly stretched here. It's a big switch of play to Benzema. Takes it down inside the penalty area, looks up, low ball, cut out by O'Reilly. Did really well, did Matt O'Reilly there, but it's at the expense of a Real corner. This all came from a Celtic corner. 74.5 on the clock. Real 5, Celtic 0.
It almost ended up in a 4v2 situation from Celtic's corner, a 4v2 and a counter-attack. 4 being the 4 Real Madrid players. Incredible.
Corner is dinked back to Toni Kroos by Asensio. Picks it up again, wide on the left, gets the cross in, comes off the boot of Giakoumakis and behind over for another Real Madrid corner, which Ceballos is already away over to the far side to take.
So he could have put his head on that Giakoumakis and cleared it properly. Instead he takes a swipe at it and he could have went anywhere.
15 minutes to play.
Long 15 minutes, I've got to say, for Celtic.
Yeah, 15 minutes plus. Poor corner though. O'Reilly picks up at the edge of the D of his own box, turns, looks up the pitch, trying to get Celtic out here. And it bounces out for a throw-in on this near side of Vallejo.
Just looking at Tati over in that sort of, I think he's really struggling to have any energy to stay in this game. Celtic have used all their subs, haven't they? Am I right in saying that?
Well, the one thing that you would say about Hatate is that he was influential for quite a bit of the first half, but in the second half he's fallen out of it completely. Most of his teammates have as well. Celtic have got one change left. Remember, they brought 4 on.
It's 4, I thought it was 5.
Earlier on, as O'Reilly collects on this near side, crossing the halfway line into the centre circle, and he rolls it to Taylor. 14 minutes to play of the 90. Here goes Jota down that left, looking to take on his man. Gets to the level of the 6-yard line, but his cross is easy for Courtois to hold on to.
Yeah, nobody getting across the front post. That's the area you've got to hit. When Jota gets that ball, he's always going to play the cross into that area. But Giakoumakis didn't make the run. He normally does actually hit that front post, but this time he elected to stay in the middle, and it was easy for Courtois.
It's Celtic's 33rd away game in the Champions League groups. They've lost what will be 27 of them. The worry for Ange Postecoglou recently is that Celtic Park hasn't been the fortress it once was in this tournament, as Celtic win a corner down that left-hand side.
Yeah, listen, there's been big learning, I think, from them. They've been unfortunate to lose the 2 first goals tonight, I've got to say, for penalties. Put you on the back foot right away, but there are lots of other learnings. You could see how clinical Real Madrid are when they get into great positions.
Referee isn't happy with Moritz Jens and Dani Ceballos. That delays the taking of this corner by Jota. 77 on the clock. 5-0 Real Madrid. Plenty of teams will come to the Bernabéu and lose 5. Jota in swinger with the right foot, in on top of the goalkeeper, who doesn't get much onto it, to be fair. He did get something, which was enough in the end up. Ceballos knocks it forward. Real Madrid are heading away in the counter with Valverde scampering across halfway, loads flooding forward in white as Valverde finds Asensio, low ball into the box. Hatate's there, and he puts it out for a Real Madrid throw-in on this near side.
It's almost with relief that you see one of the Celtic players intercepting that ball, because again they had numbers going, driving forward, and Hatate did well. I did say lacking energy, but he did well to get back into a position to get the clearance, and really difficult for Celtic at the moment.
Vallejo stepping away from Giakoumakis and shifting it back into the centre circle for Kroos. And once again, everyone bar Courtois just about inside Celtic territory. Mendy to Ceballos, to Kroos, moves it back the way to Nacho, who moves it left to right of the circle for Jesus Vallejo. And it's a low ball out to the right-hand touchline. Move back in field to Vallejo, heading towards the final 10 minutes. It's been a punishing evening for Celtic, as Valverde picks up an early ball, looking for Benzema, but it's too close to Joe Hart, who holds on.
Yeah, this time he didn't quite wrap his foot around it, but again the intention was there. He's seen the space between Joe Hart and Carl Starfelt, just trying to get it across for Benzema, but it goes in closer to Joe Hart, and he was able to intercept this time.
It's O'Reilly forward to Hatate. Giakoumakis ahead of him. Hatate twists it out to Jota, left of the D at the edge of the box, looks for goal, shoots, and it's a save for Thibaut Courtois. It's another effort on goal by Celtic. They've managed a few of those. That's their fourth on target, albeit that one was never really threatening Courtois.
Yeah, the stats probably will show that Celtic have had probably about, I would say, maybe 8 or 9, maybe
6.
6 is it on target? Yeah,
not on target. No, that was the fourth on target.
Was it?
Yeah. Courtois beaten a
way
few
off
away,
them
hasn't he?
stats. Then it just feels to me that
yeah,
it was.
No, they did have periods in the first half in particular, and even in the second. Giakoumakis tested Courtois earlier. He saved twice in the first half from Kyogo and from Hatate, didn't he? Beating them away as Real pick up on the far side. Because Vasquez and then Rodrigo and then Asensio and then Kroos. Big switch is coming here for Ferland Mendy. Ancelotti still down there, pointing the way for his team. Fabulous Champions League history. Ancelotti, it's his 19th season as a Champions League manager. That's what you call experience. The highest level, glittering career. The only team he really struggled with in the Champions League was when he was in charge of Napoli a few years ago when they failed to get out of their group. As Asensio collects up against Jota, he plays it short there to Valverde. And out to Lucas Vasquez. Israel give it away momentarily, but eventually goes back to Vallejo. But in the final 10 minutes here, Real Madrid 5, Celtic 0. A very difficult Champions League campaign for Scotland's 2 representatives.
Yeah, just going to see, obviously, the manager, Ancelotti, he's down at the edge of his square, barking orders, and is still involved in this game, even though they're 5-0 up. You would expect the manager to be sitting back enjoying it, but he is so caught up in the game.
Free kick for a foul on Haksabanovic there by Ceballos. And Celtic will make their final change. Oliver Abelgo is going to come on for the final 9 minutes in the place of Hatate.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. He just looked out on his feet there for the last probably 5-10 minutes.
Put away up the back here, he looks knackered.
Yeah, really put an effort in. You cannot take anything away from a player who gives 100% and comes off absolutely done in, because you know that he's really worked hard. And he had to work hard tonight because Madrid had lots of the ball in the second half and he had to do a lot of work off the ball.
You do expect to chase shadows at times when you come to the Santiago Bernabéu. And the second half has been a bit like that for Celtic. Real have turned on the style, 3 excellent goals, adding to the 2 penalties in the first half. And here they come again with Asensio out to Lucas Vasquez. He's got support ahead of him, moving it to the 18-yard line, cut out by Jens, and then Turnbull will turn it to his left for Taylor. It's one of those games. Celtic haven't done a heck of a lot wrong tonight.
Yeah, it's just been, I think, a class at times in the second half, though. You can see the difference. And that.
There's Jota from Turnbull. Jota moving towards the Real Madrid penalty area. He's meeting the sandwich. He goes down. Celtic have a free kick left of the D at the edge of the Real Madrid box. 82.5 on the clock. 5-0 to Real Madrid.
Yeah, it's a chance for them to test Courtois again in that Real Madrid goal. Maybe Jota, maybe Turnbull.
There's a few over it at the moment. Haksabanovic is there too, as is O'Reilly. And imagine Jota will have a pop at this. Turnbull more than capable. Jota is so 2-footed, he can take from either side comfortably. He looks favourite for this.
There's got to be a good strike to beat Courtois.
83 minutes played. Real Madrid 5, Celtic 0. Closing stages of this Champions League campaign for Celtic. Jota waits to take. The referee's ready. 4-man wall. Jota takes and scores! What a finish that is! It's a brilliant goal by Jota. It's the pockets of Celtic supporters around the Bernabéu burst into life, as do the main away section off up in the heavens to our right-hand side. Jota with the kind of goal anyone in Real Madrid white would have been proud of. It is just consolation. but it's one for Jota and for the Celtic supporters to remember in one of the great European footballing theatres. Real Madrid 5, Celtic 1.
Well, I did say it had to be a real special strike to beat the goalkeeper in that Real Madrid goal, and it was. Right into the top right-hand corner with his right foot bending over the wall, depth, power and accuracy, and what a good strike from Jota. And he made the goal also because he drove at the defence and won the free kick.
Yeah, he was back with a bang against Livingston at the weekend. What a finish that is, as O'Reilly pops it into the Real box, knocked away by Lucas Vazquez, who's still trying to get rid of it. O'Reilly has it now, scuffs an effort towards the penalty area. It's blocked by Vallejo, and it goes out for a Celtic throw-in over on the far side. So the Celtic supporters do get something to cheer.
Yeah, and they'll sing about it. And Jota will have a memory of scoring a magnificent goal in this stadium against a top team, a real top team.
He enjoyed it, didn't he? He really enjoyed it. It's not often you see a player celebrating when they're only pulling your team back to within 4 goals, but that was one that he'll remember for the rest of his career. He might not get to play in the Bernabéu again, you just don't know. Of course, in the enormous Portuguese preliminary squad for the World Cup finals in Qatar is Jota. That won't do his prospects any harm, because there was a certain Portuguese who used to cut around this place, scoring goals for fun, many of them spectacularly. And even the great Cristiano Ronaldo would have enjoyed that one, I'm sure.
Well, I always feel with Jota, if he's in a top team, he'll be a top player because he's got the ability in that final third, as we've seen. And he can go in a 1v1, outside, inside, and he can also, as we've seen there, score goals. So it's a real weapon if you have him. But the other part of the game, then you've got to stay in and give yourself a chance to win games and use then his ability.
Well, it's something to grab onto, isn't it? Something to enjoy on the final match day. Just 2 points is all Celtic will bank from this campaign. A campaign that could and probably should have been much better than it's ended up being. When you saw the fixtures come out, you thought they needed to have the business done before the final match day, because to come here expecting a result is one thing. To come here hoping for one is still a pretty difficult challenge. As Real clear through Lucas Vazquez, going to get it back over on the far side, moves it forward to Valverde. Now he's coming bursting for what pace he has. Rodrigo ahead of him. Instead he takes it a little bit further, and the pass is poor. It's easily cut out by Starfelt. He finds O'Reilly. And now there's a chance for Jota if they can play him in down that left-hand side. Up against Vallejo, he barely plays. Jota is at the edge of the box, he shoots, and it's saved by Courtois. He'd Giakoumakis to the right and Haksabanovic to the left. He's confident though, went himself. Courtois
he was never
going
to pass, Liam. He was never going to pass after scoring that goal, cutting in. And again, he created a little bit of space, a little step over to create a little bit of opportunity for himself to get the shot away. Again, straight down into the arms of Courtois, but good effort.
Here's Rodrigo for Real, gets it back from Asensio. Now he's found Benzema. Benzema at the edge of the penalty area, great footwork. He's managed to slip it into the box. Hart's committed himself to the back heel. Benzema smashes it off Starfelt, who clears at the near post. He's almost on his goal line, and it goes behind for the goal kick. Starfelt denying Benzema. 88 played, Real Madrid 5, Celtic 1.
Yeah, great awareness though. Great awareness. It chose out of his goal, just a little back heel. Here they're in again.
Asensio's in again, and he rifles it high over the bar. Goal kick Celtic.
Yeah, that's his probably worst moment in the game so far. It was a great opportunity to test Joe Hart there, but just got it all wrong and put it over the crossbar. But he's probably very tired also.
Him and Valverde have been excellent tonight, haven't they?
Excellent.
Modric was as well, but Valverde and Asensio have stood out tonight for Real. As O'Reilly pops it forward to Turnbull, midway inside Real territory, out to the left for Jota. We are heading towards the final minute of the 90. And it's Turnbull playing it out of play though for a throw into Real Madrid level with their own 18-yard line over on that far side. Here in Champions League Group F, Leipzig 4-0 up in Warsaw against Shakhtar Donetsk, repaying in kind the hammering they took at home to the Ukrainians. They will leave the table, Real Madrid top on 13. Leipzig going through as runners-up, just a point behind Real Madrid. That's, when you consider what happened in match day 1, that's not a bad achievement. Shakhtar on 6, Celtic on 2.
I always thought, though, it was a fluke result, that one, to be honest. When you think about the goalkeeper made a huge mistake for the first goal. Galaski out in the middle of the pitch, give it away. And then, of course, the second goal, there was 2 deflections, really, so I always thought it was, and they were going through a bad time.
That's been the key result, though, in this group. That one, Shakhtar winning that, it's the one that's kind of helped snuff Celtic out, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the 2 draws between them, games, both of which Celtic should have won against Donetsk. Should be Celtic enjoying Europa League football in the spring. It will be Shakhtar as the referee blows. Barely any injury time, full time here. Celtic's Champions League campaign comes to an end with a heavy defeat in the Bernabéu. Real Madrid turning on the style, in particular in that second half. It's a fabulous team. They will be there or thereabouts again when the final is played in Istanbul in the springtime. And they scored early as well. Luka Modric after a Jens handball, converting the penalty. 2-0 on 21, another penalty. This time Rodrigo converting after a handball. Post-VAR check was awarded as a spot kick, as Luka Modric and Ange Postecoglou enjoy an embrace down below us. Real respect about Luka Modric's career and everything he continues to do at his age as well. Celtic had their opportunities in that first half, Kyogo and Hatate in particular, both of whom tested Courtois. But they had a penalty themselves. Abada hauled to the deck by Mendy before Juranovic's effort was saved by the big Belgian. And then in the second half, Real Madrid running out comfortable winners. Asensio, Vinicius Junior and Valverde scoring 3 goals in a 20-minute spell. Giakoumakis had tested Courtois as well, before Jota executed a magnificent free kick as we headed into the final 6 minutes, found the top left bin. And it has to be world class to beat a world class goalkeeper in Thibaut Courtois. That it was for Jota. So at least Celtic's Champions League campaign ends on a positive note, that Jota goal. But it's only 2 points gathered across the 6 matches in what has been a troubled European season for Scottish football, particularly when you think how good the coefficient's been looking recently. But they are sitting in a position now where Belgium have gone above them, and they are having the worst European season out of the top 18 nations across the coefficient, with only 1 more game to go when Hearts go to Turkey tomorrow to play Istanbul Başakşehir. But for Celtic, it is a winless Champions League campaign. They will be desperate to get back to the top table next season. The Scottish champions go directly once again into the Champions League groups. Celtic will aim for that now that their European campaign has drawn to a close here in the Santiago Bernabéu, where it finished Real Madrid 5, Celtic 1.
Celtic in the Champions League.